Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backcast. Ryan, I'm Upper Talk with Braydon Ketty about Batman, the animated series, and this week is season two of Batman, the animated series, which is, I just totally blanked on what the episode was. It's Sideshow. How you doing today, sir?
He's a super freak with sharp teeth. He's super freaky. I'm doing good. I
Yeah,
just came back
Sideshow
from
Freak.
Comic-Con.
Yes, yes, for telling when this is recording. Yes, this weekend it was Toronto Comic Con, and we were both there yesterday. And I was only ended up being there for a couple hours myself because I didn't hit any, but there was any. Well, there's the one panel that was at like 2 o'clock, but I knew like. By the time I decided I wanted to go, I knew I think it was the supernatural one, I think, or and I knew like the line would have been too long, so I was like, oh fuck, I'm not going to try and deal with that. So I just ended up walking, and it being in the north building, yeah, you can walk the floor like fairly fast, even with a bunch of people there. Yeah, so like I only ended up being there for a couple hours before I ended up leaving because I think I left about like 3 o'clock or just after because Sarah was just getting there.
And we
So
got
how
to
was it
meet
for
some
you?
of our listeners on the floor.
Oh well, you did.
Yes, because I'm the social one. Yeah, thank you to the Canadian Podcast Awards for letting us use your booth for an hour to promote the show. It was really cool. Even one of the guys, when I was doing Lord of the Rings trivia for my show, he's like, "You do a Batman contest or a Batman podcast? Give me some Batman trivia." I was like, "All right." So just asked him a question off the top of my head.
Was it trivia from our show or from something you remembered from the doc?
No, it was what is the name of Mr. Freeze's wife?
Nora. So I guess it kind of yeah, I think that's how most people remember it. So I guess it is from our from us
Yeah, Nora with
because it wasn't
seven
for that.
A's.
Because if it wasn't for that, I'd have no idea. I had no idea what the name was. I would have 100% forgotten. Just like the only reason why I remember that I think it was actually probably both. I know like Superman's mom's name was like it was named Martha because like I said from the Batman and Superman movie that fucking horrible scene like the why'd you say her name because obviously remember that the Waynes so like is her name was Martha Wayne that I remember because I guess I'm more of a Batman fan but like I never I only knew it was Mom and Pa Kent. I never actually knew what their actual real names were. So yeah, so it's so like yeah. So if you had like gun to my head like kryptonite bullet gun to my head, I wouldn't have been like like and hey, tell me what Superman's mom's name is. I wouldn't have I wouldn't have said Martha. I would be able to put out Martha on my head before that movie.
Her name is Mrs. Kent. That's all you need to know. But yeah, this is a sideshow, and yeah, it's the first time we've actually had like a Killer Croc focused episode. I think since Vendetta. Am I right?
Because I think this is like the only other time he's shown up other than the almost gone home episode. I think because because I think he had and he didn't even really get like his own actual like you know 4 room section of the episode other than he's like I threw a rock at him. It was a big rock, which I
We're
think
gonna
is probably
find
the
out how
most.
big that rock is in a couple of
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. He always goes back to that fucking rock. But I think that was like that probably like the most memorable part of that episode is that part. But yeah, we have yeah, it's a Killer Croc episode is the 66th episode that produced and the 67th episode to air, having it air May 3rd, 1994. And I would have kind of vaguely have an idea of what I was doing that day because actually that's my younger sister's birthday is May 3rd, so we're probably doing like a
Yeah.
birthday party for her to some degree or whatever birthday party 11-year-olds do at birthday parties in my house, which I don't remember. No, so if younger sister, if you happen to remember listening, I'm sorry I didn't remember your 11th birthday party, but I also doubt she's listening, so it's okay.
So, did you know this episode's apparently based on a comic story? A View from the Grave, Detective Comics number 4110 by Denny O'Neil.
For
And
did you say for 110? 4,110?
oh, yeah. Wow. Math. What can I say?
or numbers, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Number
So
AZ6 dash pi symbol.
no, not the barcode.
Yeah. Something Klingon. But yeah,
Wow.
the story in the original comic, it actually didn't feature Killer Croc, but Hano Wiggins, a death row escapee. And if you guys are wondering, no, he's not a regular Batman villain. But I guess for this adaptation, they decided to just substitute him with Killer Croc.
It was a Denny O'Neil story.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, I think I may have mentioned like probably like in a recent episode that I have like a few comics signed by him. Probably a good like a year or so before he died. So I think, so I think if I do end up getting like the days off for Fan Expo this year, the CGCS will probably be at Fan Expo again. So I think I might try and take one of them in and get them authenticated and graded. But I have a feeling the books that I got are probably like they're really old books and not in the best of shape. So I'm debating if I want to go to CGC, but I should probably get one of them put in plastic though, just for safekeeping, because he's not around and he's like a prolific writer.
Mhm. So yeah, the episode starts with this train that's going over a trestle bridge and carrying Killer Croc on his way to prison. And he's wrapped up in chains. And I would like to point out he has one guard watching him, a single guard.
Well, you heard how confident that guard was that he wasn't going to break out of the cuffs and slash the whatever the fuck they had like the chain connecting them, whatever, because he said whatever metal it was. Because you saw him actually like you saw him like trying to fucking pull out them and stuff, and then he's like, oh hey, then obviously like the one thing that you think they probably would have thought of, that he's like actually like, yeah, my bite force is actually one of the strongest in the world. He actually fucking bites it off.
Which we may
Because you
note
think,
of
I
in
think
the Underdwellers. I might add with a pinch of sass. It's my ass, Sewer King. But I would like to also add that I don't think it's normal correctional like officer procedure to bring reporters with you on prison transportation.
or like four of them for that matter.
Yeah,
And like and what good reporters were the other three that they didn't be like, hey, who the fuck are you, fourth guy? Like,
yeah.
whatever else. And then initially, like, I don't know if I can rewinding, I didn't until like I saw him running away, and like when they heard that Killer Croc was escaping, they ran away and was pulling his doing like a Superman and pulling his shirt aside, and he saw the Batman thing, and I was like, I didn't recognize that it was it was Batman and pulling the fake mustache sitting beside him, and I ran back. I'm like, oh yeah, like, oh, that is fucking. If you can do that and be like, hey, that's fucking Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Just Malone, ace reporter.
Yeah, it just
Breaking
makes me think
news:
of that.
mustaches are sexy again.
This reminds me of that Jimmy Kimmel skit where he just fucking walks into the party where they has like Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck
Oh
as
yeah,
Superman and Batman. He just walks in. I think it's there like a museum or like this fancy hoo-ha or whatever the fuck. And he just walks up. And he's like, "You're Batman. You're fucking Superman." They're like, no. And then Ben Affleck's doing like the Batman voice or pretty much it. He's like, no. He's like, yeah. He puts the thing over. He's like, yeah, you're supposed to. And like, yeah. You're like, what the fuck? So yeah. So fucking point out that Batman and it's Bruce Wayne and a mustache on the thing. How shitty are these fucking reporters and the cops that are there as well? Because because if they're like transporting like a high like security fucking guy or whatever the fuck you want to say, like prisoner. There you go. Why did I fucking like him prisoner? Like I'm losing words today. Yeah, like yeah, why would they like yeah, why yeah, as you said, why would they have reporters, let alone four of them, and be not like be like, hey, who the fuck are all four of you, especially this random person that we don't recognize.
Maybe the reporters are human shields in case he goes rampaging.
It's all their fucking fault.
Eat the press.
Hey, hey. I'm
What? I worked in the media. I'm okay with the
I,
little less reporters in the world.
I am in the media currently, remember?
Yeah.
And technically, because you're doing this podcast, you're technically part of the media now too. So,
Hosted by my own petard. But yeah, so he goes on a rampage as Batman's throwing off his disguise, and they manage to get a blow dart into his arm. And as he's running up, Batman says it's a sedative as he's getting up on top of the train while they're cutting over the bridge, but he doesn't seem to really get into a tranquilized kind of state until after their fight. If anything, it seems like he's pumped full of adrenaline.
well, yeah, well, part of that was that is probably just from him trying to escape, and two is probably just like it probably was like it wasn't dosed correctly, I think, because they probably just said
Hi,
probably just
everybody. I dosed your Killer Croc.
no, well, that's the thing though. If it was Dr. Nick, yeah, like they probably would have they probably would have knocked him out because he probably would have given it like a way too high a dose. But they probably just dosed it for a regular person, not thinking, like Killer Croc is probably slightly juiced up, so to some extent. So like, so yeah, as I said, they probably I think it was probably just that. So that's why it probably wasn't until like when he went to go friggin' drop that rock on Batman's head, which he
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about The Rock for
that's
a
disgusting.
second. Because yeah, Batman and him have this like little tussle on the bridge, and they throw themselves off like in like slip of the feet, I guess, and crash through like four stories, hitting tree branches on the way down. Like Keith Richards couldn't survive this fall, and Crockett manages to wake up first, sees Batman just kind of lying there unconscious, and I will leave the piece de resistance to you, Monsieur Abba.
Oh yeah, so so he's lifting up the rock, and he's just like, and then that's when the sedative or whatever finally starting to kick in because he sees that, and then he's like, oh, and then he like more drops it, accidentally drops it as he falls over it and lands like mere inches from his head. So do you think like in just like not like production and air date continuity, just like within own show continuity. Do you think this is what Batman was referring to, like in that story, and that this could have been before that, like within the show,
Before.
or
Yeah.
I actually now that I think about it, he was fucking knocked out. So like, so unless he like kind of figured out like when he came to that that rock wasn't there initially when he fell sort of thing. He's kind of like, oh yeah, I think Croc probably tried to fucking crock me with this, but ended up fucking passing out and then running off or whatever.
Knowing Batman, he's probably figured out a way to be unconscious with his eyes open.
It's yeah, it's still like taking everything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's walking off like the sedative and is just like, well, like I can't kill him because I'm like too dosed up. So starts running through the we have this like really cool scene that feels very much like one of those old time kind of fugitive things where it's Batman eventually kind of waking up and trying to chase down Croc on foot. And Croc's of course doing like the classic like running through the river and splashing around his legs, and then he comes up to this canyon, and it kind of felt like a scene out of Homeward Bound. Like I was expecting like two dogs and a cat to run up. Holy crap! The animals are talking to me.
Or that scene in Predator when when it's chasing after Arnie and he fucking falls
Mm,
off the waterfall, and that's where he gets like the mud on him and stuff or whatever. But yeah, then at one point, like you would think like Croc being like he's like part. It even says like Batman says later on this thing he's like part crocodile. He would know that rocks are slippery when they get wet. So you shouldn't just be like, you shouldn't run like full speed and like jump on one and like expect to be like nice and dry and like not slip on it and land in the drink.
Yeah. Oh, and he goes tumbling into the.
Yeah, you have all the Batman villains. You think him and maybe Penguin would know like that's not a good idea to run full speed onto that.
Yeah. Yeah, because Croc, he manages to like push a tree over this like canyon,
Oh yeah,
and
that too.
yeah, he climbs his way over the tree onto the other side of the canyon, and Batman's like just behind him, and then he again with the rock, he grabs a rock to like chuck it over the tree and like smash it halfway through. As Batman's like, "Oh shit!" and runs backwards, and he goes falling into the canyon. He grabs at first he manages to grapple the like one of the trees on the other side of the canyon.
Yeah, and I like that shot that he was at first able to like shoot through the fucking falling rocks, and then also not get fucking clocked by what said falling rocks after he after the grapple connects.
They're big ass
As,
rocks.
yeah, as a 1 in a million shot, Doc, 1 in a million.
Yeah, so
And I
as he's
and I hope you actually get that reference or where I'm getting that reference from.
like okay, he's talking to one of the animals in Homeward Bound, and one of them happens to be talking about time travel. So yeah, he Batman actually is like that close to narrowly escaping, and he ends up getting knocked down further into the canyon, and like grabbing on the side of a cliff, and he's like pretty beaten up, considering an entire cliffside is and a tree has pretty much fallen on top of him. um, so Croc is as you mentioned, yeah, he's like hopping over the river, he slips and goes over a waterfall, and he's hitting the water, and that's when this like silhouette of a little kid is watching, and we don't really get a good glimpse of the kid until after he's rescued Croc from the water and brought him to this little like water mill down the further down the river. So when Croc comes to, he finds himself surrounded by circus sideshow performers, or as he calls them, a freak show. And so, who do we have here? We have their leader, Richard, who's this hunchback and quite possibly Sewer King's thespian acting coach.
Yeah,
Alas, poor Gator, I knew this, Richard. Or as I
and
called
then
him, Harry Dick.
I get it.
And
And
then we
then
got,
then we got Raymond's brother, the Goliath.
yep, I'm so
which
happy you got that voice.
yeah, which initially it was definitely one of the times when I was like, I know that voice, but like I'm going to be pissed off that like once I see who it is, that I see who that when I look up who it is, that I see who it is. Yeah, that it was. Yeah, it's what's his? Yeah, I've forgotten. I've already
Garrett.
forgot. Brad, that's it. Yeah, Brad, yeah. Which at the time I definitely wouldn't have gotten that as Ray's brother because like everyone loves Raymond came out like a couple, 94 or so came out like 2 years after this. So yeah, so I probably definitely wouldn't have put two and two together at the time.
No, I get it. Everybody remembers Raymond. Nobody remembers me. I was just the voice of Lobo and I was the voice of Kilowog, but nobody remembers Brad Garrett.
uh, okay, I don't think I've seen much Green Lantern stuff, so I don't know when was he Kilowog?
And the DCIU. And the
Oh,
same
like
with Lobo.
no one like did which show or like what is it like?
Justice League.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think I watched Justice League, so that's why I wouldn't have picked that up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
but
He gets a videotape of Old Yeller and eats it
yeah.
because he thinks it's food. Because he's a stupid alien.
The stupid bastard. and then
I got that one.
and then and then there's like the Siamese twins. I think we're like a lot, and Seal Boy, or
Are we
whatever.
allowed to use that term? I thought it was conjoined twins now.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm being a piece of shit. Sorry. Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
you're the
Yeah,
editors.
okay.
Don't get us
Yeah.
canceled.
No, I was totally, but that was be I was being shitty. Yeah, so yeah, conjoined
You
twins.
hear that,
Or
human resources? I jumped in there.
hey, we're not fucking union, so.
I am.
For this we aren't, but
No,
we,
that's
we
fair.
are we are separately in our actual real jobs, but not for
Fair.
this. I don't think that. I don't think Canadian podcasts have gone into whichever union yet. So
Yet.
we'll
But
finally get
yeah,
that. We'll finally get some of that internet money.
yeah, sweet, sweet. Use Dogecoin. It'll
Yeah,
never
no,
fail us.
no, I don't want anything related to him to deal with. So nice, I know Dogecoin
Why did he name it Doge?
because he's a fucking moron. That's why.
You don't say. There's no way that thing can sound it Doge.
Just like I'm gonna fucking call it X
Yeah.
because that's cool. Because I think that's cool because I'm a dumbass.
I wonder if he's aiming for 26 children just so he can like name them like a single letter, A through Z.
I think we all wish he was that clever, and so especially him.
Yeah, I'm giving him too much credit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, to what you mentioned, yeah, the last member of this kind of adoptive family is Billy, the seal boy. And I think it was when I saw the flippers, my mind went to have you seen the Bubble Boy movie?
Uh, oddly enough, no, I haven't. That's like the John Travolta movie, correct? Yeah. Like
Oh no,
I know.
not the John Travolta one, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal. Have
I
you
don't even know
never heard of
that.
this?
I don't even know. No, I'm only aware of the John Travolta one,
Oh
and
no,
like
this one's so
I
much better.
and I haven't seen it, but that one I'm just aware that it's a thing.
Yeah, this
So
one has
so yeah.
Machete in it, and Vern Troyer is Doctor Freak.
Machete don't bubble.
Yeah. But yeah, like this is where my mind went to when he was like surrounded by them because like yeah, I'm thinking of like the I hate using this term because they are people, but in this cartoon context, like the circus freaks and Vern Troyer just hitting Jake Gyllenhaal with a stick like freaks. Yeah, so more or less, it's kind of like the backstory that these guys have. They're runaway circus performers, and they I think they managed to like actually like buy their way to freedom with all the money they saved up while performing, and managed to buy this little farm on the side of the river. And so they're taking care of Croc. They're offering him place to sleep and fresh clothes and food, and they say like yeah, like you're welcome to join us. But even like Croc's like you're a bunch of freaks. It's like says the man with jagged teeth.
Yeah, yeah, which is like the half fucking crocodile guy.
Yeah,
Like, come on, buddy. Like, read the room a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, they have them so like say like well like if you want to like be a part of this like our place to stay like you're more than welcome to like earn your keep. So he starts helping out with like chores like moving the tractor and stuff. And that's when they ask like so where'd you come from? He's like oh me I was coming from a freak show myself, and yeah they were throwing pieces of fish at me to eat and they treated me like trash, but I managed to break free. Like, that sounds awful. And he's like, yeah, yeah, it does. And I'm like, I mean, if he's referring to Arkham Asylum, like that's one thing, but maybe he's referring to his wrestling career.
It's like, no, no,
Actually,
I'm from the rival circus freak show.
actually, when you think about it, the WWE is kind of a circus freak show, isn't it?
And in mostly the least condescending way, I guess.
Well, in a condescending way, I'll say this much. P.T. Barnum and Vince McMahon have more in common than he would like to admit.
Yeah, oh yeah, I figured, yeah, Vince McMahon's a piece of shit, yeah, so.
Actually, I'd say P.T. Barnum would tell him you've sunk too low. So yeah, I believe the that's this little moment where they're kind of like getting to know him, and like Croc seems to be having this moment of having a chance to basically have a shot at redemption, to find a place of belonging. And you have this sense of like he's kind of torn between what he wants to be. Like, does he want to have a chance at being quote normal among others, or does he want to just kind of play things his way and kind of make a break for it? But the moment really comes when they're all sitting down to dinner, and that's when Richard says, like, we'll buy you some new clothes. He's like, where do you guys got money? He's like, oh, we have a little nest egg, $50,000. And he's like, we don't like to advertise it. But okay, so let me see if I understand this straight. They have 50 grand and they can't give Billy a wheelchair?
Well, he can walk around and stuff. So like he does. By the looks of it, he doesn't have hands to be able to fucking push the wheels.
I've
Or
seen
or
girls in like mermaid cosplays that can't walk properly. This kid literally has flippers.
yeah, yeah. So he can walk around fine. Yeah, so he wasn't like he was having issues walking around.
What about PSW? Like they're all adults. He's like what, 12 years old?
Yeah, he does have flippers. He's not handicapped. It's two different things, right?
How are you supposed to hold a pencil?
So, well, if he can't hold a pencil, how is he going to fucking push around the wheelchair? The flippers and their flipper. Yeah,
He
he
wraps
has. Yeah,
around the joystick and he pushes like Charles Xavier. You're not the only one with gifts, Killer Croc. The kid deserves a wheelchair. I said my piece. Well, actually, you're mostly on a farm. Okay, I'm seeing the point you're making here.
you'd have to. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he'd have no use for one. Yeah, so I don't think that it'd be useful for him. But yeah, and that's what. Yeah. I think after Goliath kind of lets slip that they have the 50 grand, you kind of see a Croc perk up. He's like 50 grand a. And he says something like they'll buy a lot of something that I forgot what he says. So I
I
think
think
like
like
so go ahead.
I think Croc's kind of like getting the impression, especially from Billy, and even when he goes sneaking off in the middle of the night to go find the money. Because I think I wrote down the quote that Billy says to him. Oh yeah, he says, Croc, I know you feel a little funny being here, but it's great. It really is. No one stares at you laughing, making you feel bad. You can be yourself. And I don't know if you've read the X-Men comics, but their
I bet.
relationship here kind of reminds me of Juggernaut's when he was like having a redemption arc and he was actually trying to reform as an X-Man. And he actually had a really kind of a friendship with Sammy Pear, who I believe was like he was either a fish or a squid boy in the X-Men. So it was kind of this like kindred spirit kind of big brother relationship.
Yeah, the little bit of X-Men I've read, I definitely didn't read that story now.
Yeah, but much like Juggernaut, the redemption didn't last long.
or
Yeah,
or or
Croc.
or or at least some of the sounds, but yeah, at least in that instance, he was probably actually willing to try, and except for Croc was just sticking around to try and steal the money. Yeah,
Yeah,
by the sounds of it, by the looks of it, I think this was like basically like like the next day or within like a couple days, not like a while,
yeah,
which I imagine the Juggernaut thing probably happened. Yeah, so
yeah. Because Batman's, probably taken about a day to kind of recuperate, climbing up the side of the cliff, and even he's like Batman is like pretty tired watching this. Like you see him kind of skirting alongside like the edge of the canyon. Like I thought the city was bad. Like you need to go camping more, Bruce. Like
or just keep up on his emergency rock climbing skills.
there you go.
He needs to go hang out with Ethan Hunt for a bit.
That's exactly where my mind was going. It looks like the opening to Mission Impossible 2. You're
Yeah,
my boy, such a my bad boy.
yeah,
Wait, is that Rain Man
just
I'm thinking of?
yeah, just rewatched that Mission Impossible 2 like somewhat recently, and yeah, when it came out, for some reason I fucking love that movie, but like while we were watching, I'm like, this movie's a fucking piece of shit. Actually, and I may have saw it open. Yeah, it may have been opening week, and I saw it when it actually came out in theaters too. I think the back at Lansdowne Cinemas in Peterborough, which I think I've mentioned with our I think I think maybe last episode with the Mask of the Phantasm with Tracy. I think because I'd been to that theater. I think the last movie I saw there was Dude, Where's My Car, which I talked with her on off my shelf. Yeah, so then yeah, I think for the almost certain it was opening weekend for Mission Impossible 2. Yeah, I went to that one. Yeah, and it was the theater that was in the mall in Peterborough at the time in Lansdowne on Lansdowne Street. So it was the Lansdowne Mall, which was a Sport Check for bid, which and then even the Sport Check moved out of that spot to a different part of the mall. So yeah, so it's even empty. Yeah, so and then that theater moved to downtown where the old Eaton's is, and it's like a Galaxy now. So and then I totally forgot how I got onto Lansdowne Cinemas and Dude, Where's My Car. Totally.
I don't know how you got from
I
Tom Cruise to
sidetracked a little
Dude,
too
Where's
far.
My
And
car?
I,
But
oh yeah, because Mission Impossible 2, yeah. So, because
there you go.
I
Yeah.
saw that there, yeah. Okay, there we go. That was the missing link that I somehow forgot. Mission Impossible, yeah. That movie fucking sucks so bad. By the time I fucking somehow fucking love that movie, I don't know why. But
Yeah.
as I said, which I may have said last episode too, like I do have an affinity for bad movies sometimes, so that may play into that a little bit or a lot.
Bad movies just require the right people to watch it with. That's my
I,
argument.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just need to hit the wrong time so they people don't song like they think it's like entirely shit.
Yep. So after Batman's had his Tom Cruise rock climbing moment, he manages to find the farm, and I guess he figured he'd try like the nearest houses that were closest to where he last saw Croc, and that's where he sees Goliath sleeping outside, and approaches him. He's like, "Excuse me, have you seen a half crocodile, half man walking around?" And Goliath's like, punch, and like a fight ensues between them. I just picture Goliath like imagining the face of Ray Romano under that mask. Always with the money and the kung fu, Raymond. But did you ever teach me kung fu? No. Why would a police officer need kung fu? Son of a bitch.
I'm a police officer and you get all the attention.
A bolt guard my upper thigh. You mean your ass? Yeah, so he's like, run for it, Croc. So like Croc decides to, look us up what's going on. And the family realizes like, he's come for Killer Croc. So they manage to overpower Batman and throw him inside one of those like wheeled cages that you see in like the outside of circuses. And Croc's like, here's a freak now. He's like, well, yeah, who's the freak now? Like, but yeah, but so they're like, who's he? He's like, he's the masked nutcase who was, responsible for me, like being stuck in that circus that I came from. And Batman's just like, he's lying. Like, his name is Killer Croc. His name is Killer Croc.
Yeah,
Don't trust him.
emphasis on the killer.
Yeah. Like, who are you gonna believe? Batman? Or actually, how do these circus people not know who Batman is?
I was thinking that, like, but I'm fairly certain if they were traveling, into, I don't want to say the term again, but like, if they're the traveling freak show, like, at most they have a radio to
Yeah.
for outside like entertainment and stuff. So I imagine they're probably more focused on whatever acts they're doing and getting to the next thing to do the to get their keep until they're able to buy the farm and whatnot. They probably
Mhm.
they maybe like in a, like the odd like news like snippet on the radio. They're like another news: Batman foiled the Joker's plans again, and then moved on, sort of thing. So I'm fairly certain they probably wouldn't know who Batman is. I think because I imagine they're probably keeping track of their own shit to be worried about what's going on in Gotham City.
I was wondering like how close this is to Gotham City, considering like they don't take him like via plane or anything. Like it's
Well,
not Con Air.
yeah, it's a thing, and then like to wherever they're going, like they skip to the end, they take them via helicopter, so it probably
So
wasn't
why didn't they do the train?
yeah. Now that you think of it, I have no idea what the fuck they were open going, yeah.
This
So
ain't
like,
the Wild West. You don't do this anymore.
yeah. So
I gotta catch that 310 to Yuma.
I guess maybe they're taking them to I'm blanking on Superman's like city. It's not
Metropolis?
Smallville. Yeah, there you go. Metropolis. Yeah, I was thinking Smallville, but I'm like, I know that's not. That's where he grew up. And like, why can't I think of Metropolis? Why can't I? Like, I'm losing words today, man. Fucking Sundays.
Well, if it's the Smallville from Smallville, it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to send a reptile guy there. You thought that meteor freaks were bad. Get a load of this guy. Yeah, so he's like we gotta find out what to do with him, and they believe like Croc's story, and so they're like, what do you suggest we do with him? He's like, get rid of him. It's like, well, you want us to kill him? It's like, yeah. I'm starting to think there is some meaning in the name Killer Croc if your first instinct is murder. What are you talking about?
Maybe this isn't an ironic name.
Yeah, so he grabs like a pitchfork and he's ready to like chuck it into Batman. And Goliath grabs it and like snaps it over his knees, like we're not killers here, dude. Like this ain't gonna fly. And
We're only
Richard's like,
regular Crocs here.
yeah, yeah. And Richard says, like, I believe the chameleon has shown his true colors. I'm like, you're really stretching the reptile metaphor there, guy. Like, and we forgot to mention when they threw Batman in the cell, Croc took his utility belt, and so he says like, well, it was good to while it lasted, and so he grabs like smoke bombs out of them, chucks them on the ground, and like knockout gas comes out, and the next scene is them all like stuffed into circus cages themselves, and
Which,
I forget what.
which leads me to beg the question of how do you know which pouch it was, and that those were the knockout gas pellets? Because I'm fairly certain Batman's not gonna like probably knows what's in each pouch, like the back of his hand. So he's not gonna like label like this is the knockout gas one, this is the regular smoke gas one, this is like the kryptonite thing just in case I run into Superman. This is the fucking whatever. That is like the can of soup pouch just in case I run into Mr. Freeze. Like.
Good point.
Because like I'm sure like maybe like one of the villains is probably smart enough to like study like like cell phone footage or whatever like or CCTV thing to be like yeah okay maybe it's this one that has a knockout gas in it, but Croc's not gonna fucking be able to figure that out just by either being like knowing that's it by fucking research or being like hey these are the knockout ones.
Unless he's spending a ridiculous amount of time looking at Batman's crotch. Yeah,
Or his ass depending on which pouch it was in. So
that's why he's got the cape. He's a shy man. Nightwing, on the other hand, oh, he ain't shy. So yeah, he locks them up, and he's going to find a gun so he can, put Batman and send him to that big bat cave in the sky. And that's when Batman's like reaching on the side of the cage and what did he try and grab? It was like a brick. I
No,
thought it
yeah,
was like a
yeah, they,
cube of lead or something.
yeah, no, yeah. It was just the thing that what the Batman the thing that was blocking the thing. It was just like the thing that was blocking the wheel. You mean?
Oh, that's what it was. Like those things you put in front of a like a trailer to keep it from rolling
Yeah,
downhill.
yeah.
Okay.
What it
All
looks
right,
like.
that
Yeah,
makes more sense. Yeah, because
yeah,
I was like, what did he use that for? But then yeah, when Croc goes to, come up to him, Batman like pushes against the side of the cage and it goes rolling
yeah,
down
yeah,
the hill towards the river. And I love,
yeah.
by the way, when he's like rolling off the side, like he kind of like jumps over this rock, and like you have this like split second image of Batman's face, like, oh shit. You realize
He's
he's
like,
about to go into the river in a
yeah, he's like,
cage.
yeah, he's like, maybe I didn't think, I think this think this through fully.
Save me, Aquaman, but don't tell
But
anybody.
yeah, but thankfully, like like the roof of the cage breaks, so it does it doesn't really doesn't like have to try and fight and like not drown like in the near the end of Casino Royale in
Mhm.
Venice.
Yeah, so I think that around that time is when like the circus guys are either breaking free themselves by their own initiative, or Batman manages to break them out. Either
Oh yeah,
way,
no, it's good
Croc.
because yeah, it's because Goliath was chained up outside, and
Oh,
the
right, yeah.
Hunchback was yeah, like Goliath was outside pulling on it, and like the Hunchback guy was pushing on it, and then they finally break the pole or the thing, and that's how they got out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Killer Croc, he runs inside the house, locks the door, and channels his inner Obi-Wan when he comes out with a shotgun out the window and shouts, "You can't stop me! I have the high ground!"
I know. I have that in my notes. It's like, did Killer Croc turn into Obi-Wan?
Batman's like, "You underestimate my power," and then Croc's shotgun blasts off his limbs.
We were brothers, Batman. Okay.
You were the uglier brother, and I wear a mask, so that's saying something. But yeah, I think he. Oh yeah, Billy comes up to him and says, "Like, come on, I'll show you a secret way inside the house." And they manages to sneak inside, and there's this little like showdown between Batman and Croc. I think Croc's like at one point using like a chain, kind of like going like full kind of my favorite, one of my underrated Batman villains, Lockup.
Yeah, that is coming up soonish. I think his lockup. Yeah, is that. I don't think I watched that. I don't think that was that episode was in heavy rotation. So I think I've only seen it once or twice. So it'll be interesting once we get to that one.
I still say Lockup's a good villain, and he showed up in Batman: Arkham Shadows.
What's Arkham Shadows?
It's the one that just came out. It's like the VR kind of
Oh,
style game.
oh yeah, that's stupid fucking VR. Oh.
Justice for Lockup. Free Lockup.
No, I just pissed about VR because the last like Half-Life game came out on fucking VR only, and that fucking made me mad because I want to play new Half-Life, but not I want to spend like $500 on a fucking VR rig just to play one fucking game.
But you don't want a 25-pound helmet weighing on your head for like hours on end.
Dude, my eyes are already fucked from like being like regular distance away from TV screens, man. I don't need them like inches from my fucking eyes. I'll just like further fuck up my fucking close up vision and actually need to use my benefits that I just got on glasses.
Ah, got
I, I,
benefits.
I want to try and hold that off as long as possible, even though I do have benefits, man. But still, because
Yeah,
because at work trying to read the schedule, like the paper logs, yeah, I think my close up vision's finally starting to go.
yeah. Times
Yeah,
they are a
yeah,
changing.
yeah.
The eyes are a
Folks,
changing.
yeah, folks. Yeah, this is my daily "Don't get old" segment. Don't get old. Your eyes will go on you, then you'll be old and complaining about your eyes going.
Either that or you turn into Daredevil. We can hope for the best.
I can go for my own Karen page or
Ooh,
Karen. Yeah, but that's for another time.
that's another time. That's a story for another time. Yeah, so there's this fight scene between Batman and Croc, and it leads to the outside, like on top of the water wheel. And how did he manage to like overpower Croc? Because I didn't catch that. Maybe I blinked and missed it.
Well, yeah, they're in the water, and then they got onto the wheel, and then like Croc is first, and then he kind of hits the top because he's big. He gets pushed through the wheel.
Okay.
Then they go back into the water, and then I forget what happens. Let's
Yeah,
see.
because that was the thing. Like, I think between like them getting like covered in water, like it was a little hard to keep track of like what was going on. Like, yeah, but yeah. So Batman overpowers him. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
And then we have this closing scene of him and the Hannibal Lecter, uh, you know, two wheeler, where he's got like even the cave. Why was this thing not on his face in the first place?
Yes, yeah. None of the cops went to took that elective veterinary course in cop school, so they didn't know about killer things. So yeah, so if they had this initially, it would have the whole thing would have not happened. And then two, yeah, instead of loading him to the helicopter, which you think they're going to do, they just fucking the helicopter just fucking takes off, and they hook him to the and they just fly away with him dangling underneath to wherever the fuck they go. So unless it's like wherever it was, it's like 50 feet away. That would be fucking terrifying.
I think the odds of him escaping have improved in this new means of transportation.
Well, the body escaping, yes, but if but if the fucking he got somehow got unhooked from that when they were flying or whatever, they even in like this continuity where no one dies, he's fucking dying.
Yeah. Yeah, they're flying over a body of water, and he's just like, well, you've put me in a straitjacket and strapped me to a slab. Yeah, this is humane. This is
So yes,
justice.
yeah, so even for a supervillain, I think that was like a bit much for them to be like, "Yep, we're gonna fly away like to wherever we're going in a fucking helicopter. We're just gonna dangle you underneath and just go like at even though I'm sure helicopters probably aren't like super fast, but even then you'd probably be like fucking spinning around like into and just like flapping around.
There's a video, like a
That'd be
real
the worst.
video of someone getting one of those helicopter rescues and like on one of those stretchers, and they did something wrong. And all of a sudden, the lady starts spinning like a top and going faster and faster and faster to the point where she's like going as fast as the helicopter rotors. And somehow she lived.
Yeah, and that was like vertical, yeah, but or horizontal. Wait, horizontally, yeah. So doing that like vertically, I'm sure you'd probably be like spinning faster, just like.
Yeah.
So either way, that would be a fucking good thing to fucking do. I have to go
Yeah.
through.
All of a sudden Croc's puke is like going like projectiles, like hitting you like a force of a bullet in the back of your head. But yeah, we have this closing shot of the circus family talking to Croc, and Billy just comes up to him and says, "Why, Croc? Why did you turn on us like that? We could have helped you. We could have done something." And he says, "You said you could be yourself out here, remember? I guess that's what I was doing, being myself." So again, it comes down to this thing of yes, he had a shot at redemption, but he made the choice to stay true to what he believes is his own nature, even when being offered an alternative option.
Yeah, that I guess he's yeah just dumb enough to think that yeah that's his only option to stay with to stick with Cram. Yeah,
At least I
so
didn't try and eat you.
this time.
Tasty flipper meat.
So what'd you give this episode out of five escaped convicts?
I am gonna give it 3.5 out of 5. Really good animation. Um, I thought it was a nice, interesting focus on Killer Croc, and it kind of reminds me of the last Clayface episode we watched, where it's this thing between like, is this person actually trying to make an attempt at, a better life, or are they just embracing their villainy just in another form? And we could have used a little bit more Batman, but because it is Croc focused episode, I understand why. And yeah, it makes me really like these new side characters. And yeah, I think it's a heartwarming story with a bittersweet ending.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 3.5 as well. Yeah, because I think it was a good second full episode of for Killer Croc. Just yeah, give him a bit more give him a bit more character, or flesh out his character a bit more, I guess. Really, and yeah, and even though it be as you just said, yeah, it being like more like Killer Croc than a Batman episode. Definitely, yeah, definitely like it being focused on him more, so just to flush him out a bit more. So yeah, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 escape convicts as well. So, all right, that was the episode for this week, folks. Thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series. Next week's episode is A Bullet for Bullock. And if this is the episode, I think it is. I think it might be the one where I think the Joker is like fucking with Bullock for the episode because yeah, Bullock was part of the something I can't remember, but yeah, I think this might be the the Batman the animated series version of the Killing Joke where he's fucking with Batman and or Gordon. He's like fucking with knowing that story when I was watching that episode. But also obviously not to the extent of what happens in that episode in that story, because obviously famously no one loses their legs after that episode.
I
But
mean,
to and then
Adam just
also to
watched my eyes bulge out of my head when you said the killing joke is in BTOS.
but like yeah, like the Betas version of that. So it's obviously like in broad strokes, not not specifically, but also too like
Damn,
yeah,
Bruce Tim.
it's been a long time since I've seen this episode, but like yeah, but in broad strokes, it's like I think it might be kind of like that if I remember correctly. But again, it's also been like 20 plus years since I've seen this last, so I could
You mean the
might
Joker doesn't strap Harvey Bullock naked to a carousel?
really?
That's what he did to Gordon. Joker's messed up, dude. He would do
Uh,
something like that.
No, I just I must not remember everything about that story then. But that's you can follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast, and we, as I keep on saying, we're on YouTube now. So check us out there. Give us a review, subscribe on there, or wherever you find your podcasts, and find it at Beyond the Backcast. And where can we find you on the internet, sir?
You can find me on my podcast. That's Fandom and Folklore, where we talk about fantasy movies and TV shows and the fandoms that follow them. That podcast is on Spotify, and you can also find it on Instagram. And yeah, if you're wanting to get on our Discord for Beyond the Backcast, go to Beyond the Backcast on Instagram and click on our link tree where you'll see all of the links to our social media.
This. And you can follow me on Instagram at Sungchunkman. That's my personal account. And as I said, thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series. And goodbye, good chums. Kapow.